We are excited to be hosting our upcoming Friends of Cancer Research annual meeting on November 14th. One of the three topics at our upcoming annual meeting will be looking at maximizing use of data from academic-led studies for regulatory decision-making. Generally speaking, data that informs regulatory decisions tend to come from two types of clinical trials. One being those sponsored by the drug developer themselves, in which they've designed and conducted the study to assess the safety and efficacy of their products. Alternatively, other data could come from academic drug development trials, which are conducted by independent researchers, investigators, academic institutions, or clinical trial network groups. These can also provide important, valuable data to inform regulatory decision-making processes. There's several ongoing FDA Oncology Center of Excellence initiatives at the moment that lend themselves to more frequent collaborations between industry and academia to address some of the critical aspects in cancer research and treatment, particularly around reaching underserved patient populations and patient groups that might not ordinarily be included in clinical trials. And the reason why industry might be looking at academia and these network groups for conducting these types of studies is that they really help address various critical aspects of cancer research and treatment. Most notably, these studies can encompass diverse patient populations and thereby improving representativeness of clinical findings. They can tackle urgent scientific questions that help foster innovation and support development of cancer therapies. They can target rare cancers and underrepresented groups, broadening treatment options. And they can also generate data to address critical regulatory questions, including fulfilling post-marketing commitments, including underrepresented populations. However, leveraging data from academic drug development trials can pose challenges. Not all academic drug development trials may have regulatory intent, but despite that, their findings may be clinically valuable. When studies do have the potential to inform regulatory decisions, it's important to have alignment both in the study design and how data is being collected upfront in these studies. Submitting data to the FDA or any regulator for that matter requires comprehensive standardized data, which can may be challenging if processes up front don't align with this requirement. To identify opportunities and considerations that can help address these challenges, Friends of Cancer Research has brought together a variety of stakeholders to propose strategies and recommendations that can help maximize the use of data from these academic-led studies to support regulatory decision-making. A few of the areas that we'll be touching on during this panel discussion and are captured in a white paper that we'll be sharing in advance of the meeting both touch on mechanisms that can enhance collaboration between industry partners and academia, opportunities for early engagement with FDA to get alignment around study designs, and other parameters that will be important to meet regulatory expectations, how to optimize processes and policies for interactions between industry and academia, and finally, ways in which data could be streamlined for submitting to FDA. So we look forward to having you join us at the annual meeting for this discussion, where we'll be covering key objectives that will include identifying factors that are ultimately impacting the use of data from academic drug development trials, and more importantly, propose mechanisms and strategies that can lead to more effective partnerships and use of this data to support regulatory decision-making. The panel will be led by our moderator, Kathleen Winson, and she'll be joined by several esteemed colleagues to provide various perspectives and insights that will lead to a fruitful discussion.